Hi, today I'm teaching you how to make this mixed media art canvas. Okay, it's a 5-day project. As you know, it's for the summer school and it's going to be done during the week, so it's a very long video. It's quite a big project, so I'm just going to part it in two parts, in two videos. The first video is going to contain what you have to do the first and second day, and the second video is going to contain the rest of the days. So it's a mixed media canvas just because you can find all types of materials that you can work with, and you also find all types of textures. And as you've known, we've been talking about the 5 senses, so you're going to find yourself using all your senses during this craft project. So the materials you need are going to be card paper, the big one for the bigger kids, and just an A3 card for the smaller kids. You're going to need some tissue paper, and it's going to be all types of colors, some scissors, water, sponges. Also, I'm going to have some spray bottles prepared already with colored paper, with colored paint and perfume in it, just so you can activate your smell. So just start off by taking the tissue paper and cut it in pieces. Now for the smaller kids, you will already have it cut in pieces, that way you don't have to worry about it. Then take your bottle of water, and just spray it all over the canvas, all over the piece of paper. Or if you're using a sponge instead of a spray, just dab water all over the canvas. Now as you can see, the bigger kids will get a very big piece of paper, so they're not going to be able to all work on tables. Just use the floor instead of the table so you can work easier. And start off by just dabbing some water over your canvas and applying the pieces of tissue paper. Now as you can see, the darker colors tend to tint more, they will stain more, so apply the lighter colors first. And then once you have all the tissues covering all of your canvas, just apply the perfumed water all around so you can actually transfer the color into the canvas. Let the canvas sit for about 5-10 minutes and then start removing the tissue paper. Or if you find that you've run out of time, just let it dry overnight, and next day you can actually remove the tissue paper. As you can see, you have to be a bit gentle, because if you rub the paper too much, you might actually break it. So just do this gently. Also, the smaller kids, once the big kids have finished, you guys can go around and help the smaller ones. So as you can see, I'm doing it softly. Don't be too rough with your paper, or you might end up rubbing it too much and making holes in it. Once you have removed all the tissue papers, let it dry overnight, and you will find that this craft is very messy, so make sure you take the last 10 minutes of the class to just clean up everything around. This will be the second day part. Now you will be given some stencils, some drawings already on card for the bigger kids. Just choose the ones you like and cut them out and place them wherever you want to. The smaller kids will actually be given the same stencil for everybody. They will just have the Mickey Mouse silhouette. You're just going to have to place it over your canvas. Now if you find that the kids will touch it too more, or you're going to work with the sponge, the stencil will move around, so it would be a good idea if you just take a piece of sellotape and just stick the stencil to your canvas just by applying that small piece of sellotape between them, and just press a little bit. That way you make sure it stays there until you have finished. Once you have placed your stencils or your shapes and you're happy with how you have them, just take the spray bottles that I've given you and start spraying around the color that you like most. Or if you find that you have to wait too much for your turn to use a spray bottle, just take a sponge or even your fingers and a brush and just start dabbing the color all over the stencils and all over the canvas as you like. There is no rule for how you apply the colors or how many colors you apply, as long as they're darker than the ones that you have underneath. But since it's tempera paint or since it's finger paint, it's not gonna be too much of a bother, so you can just use whatever color you like. The only rule is make sure the stencil does not move, the shape that you have cut out does not move during this whole time. If not, the shape is not going to come out as clean and as neat as you would want it to be. So as you can see, I'm first showing off how you can dab it with a sponge, just because I find it would be faster if you have to wait your turn. But you will also find that you have these colored spray bottles in your classroom, and just take them and spray them all over. Now, since you are using the floor, don't worry if you stain too much, just don't step and try to not stain your clothes. Also, it would be a good idea if the kids are nicely dressed to just remove those clothes and put some normal ones. So as you can see here, in another craft, I've been spraying around and the table got all dirty. Remember, just like the day before, to clean up the last 10 minutes. This paint will come off quite easily with just some soap and some sponge, and then let the canvas dry overnight like the day before.